So I wanted to shoot this show for some time now, but I waited patiently for the right time, and now is the right time. See, if I shot and released this show a few months back, it falls on deaf ears, but doing it now at the end of the year, when stuff's about to get crazy, you guys will sit up and take note, especially now that Inman News has likened this topic to the zombie apocalypse. Now, what's the big deal? The new RESPA-TILA disclosure rule is the big deal. Seriously guys, you need to sit up and listen because this right here is a game changer. Both realtors and lenders need to listen up because this has the potential to slow your closings down exponentially. That's right, I used a $5 word to describe the importance of this show, so now you have to sit up and listen. Okay, I personally like the new disclosures, and this is what they look like. The new loan estimate, which replaces the old good faith estimate and the initial truth in lending disclosure. And here's the new closing disclosure, which replaces the old HUD-1 settlement statement and the final truth in lending disclosure. So we go from 4 confusing forms down to 2 simple and similar forms. That part I actually like, and I think you guys will too. Here's where it gets ugly though. Initial loan estimates must be delivered or placed in the mail no later than 3 days after receiving the application and no later than 7 days prior to consummation. Okay, no big change there on that one, but this is the big game changer. The closing disclosure, remember this is basically the HUD-1, must be received by the borrower no later than 3 days prior to consummation. If the APR becomes inaccurate, the loan product changes, or a prepayment penalty is added, a revised closing disclosure must be provided and an additional 3-day waiting period after receipt is required before the loan can close. Did you guys catch that last part? Because I did. In a day and age when doing loans is tough and you have to fight, scrap, basically crawl your way to closing, now you have to wait an additional 3 days once the HUD-1 or the new closing disclosure hits the borrower. Now I got personal lender friends from the East to West Coast, and this has them all kinds of messed up. Many lenders are just happy to get to closing. Just ask the banks, they seem to have the hardest time with this. But now we have to wait an additional 3 days to consummate the loan? I mean, gone are the days of drawing docs in the morning, signing in the afternoon, and funding. Now you get to wait 3 days after your docs get to closing. Oh, and if you have to make any changes and the docs become inaccurate, you, your borrower, and the realtor get to wait 3 more days. Now look, I get the spirit of this rule, I really do. Borrowers shouldn't be rushed to sign on the biggest purchase of their life. Good thought, but the additional 3 days is a killer. You already put the lender and the borrower through the most prolific gauntlet ever just to get the loan, and now you get to the end and you have to wait an additional 3 days? Anyone else feel like you just ran the Tough Mudder after closing a loan? I mean really, you jumped through fire, you crawled through mud, and you climbed a bunch of ropes just to get to the finish line. It kind of feels that way sometimes, huh? So here's the deal. 1 of 2 things are gonna happen. 1, lenders, builders, MBA, NMBA, NAR, they all get on the same page and they work with the CFPB to amend this thing before it gets rolled out. That only happens if you guys push them to do so though. Or 2, we once again basically get a new over-regulating rule shoved down our throat and we are forced to comply. Which option do you guys like? Now we are the RE Source and we do have the resources you will need on this gigantic issue. A PDF compliance guide is below, a new form guide is below, a disclosure time guide is below, samples are below, and finally a link to several webinars are below. So we got you covered, but I'm telling you, you have to jump on this, and if you care about this industry and you're a part of an association, you need to put this at the top of your priority list and seek to work with the CFPB to get it right before they roll it out. I hope you guys appreciate the heads up, and I hope you appreciate all the info that we made available below. Let's hear from you guys. What do you guys think about this? Let us know your thoughts down below, and we will see you next week.